And yes, we're live here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about here live from the Florida State Fairgrounds as we have Super Bowl winning quarterback Brad Johnson. How you doing today, man?
Doing awesome, man. It's great to be back down here in Tampa. And
yeah?
See a lot of fans and sign a lot of autographs and just kind of be back in there. I've come back quite a few times for different reunions. And last year I came back for the 49er game and spent the day actually with Gruden in the owner's box and kind of watched them play that game against 49ers. So I got to do the I got to do the sword up there in the ship, you know.
Fire
the cannons.
Absolutely, fire the cannons. What are you and Gruden talking about? Old times, of course, going back to Super Bowl 37. How does that conversation go? Because, you know, for me, your year is underrated. With 22 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, you were phenomenal for that offense, especially the second half of the year. So what do you and Gruden talk about there in the box there?
Gruden and I, we've stayed in great touch all these years. It's great friendship there, a lot of respect, and now it's fun to watch him on social media. But, you know, I spent the day with him up there watching the whole game for 3.5 hours and then gave me a ride back to the hotel. And we really talk about, you know, some life-changing plays that took place.
Yeah.
And, you know, honestly, I go back to NFC Championship game with the play to Joe Jaravicius over the middle. It's called Triple F 83 double smash X option. And I almost checked out of the play. And because I thought they were going to bring the blitz. And then all of a sudden I would have checked to 98 Tulsa or 359 sticky. Instead, I stayed with the play. And then Joe ran it out for 73 yards and life-changing play.
Yeah.
And then and honestly, the touchdown pass to Keyshawn down there, it was 3rd and 9. There was a timeout before that play, and Gruden asked me, you know, did I like the play? This play was called Double Right 200 Jet Vegas, and I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know. He looked at me. I'm like, just go with it.
Yeah.
And we went with it, and Blaine Bishop, the free safety, was a little bit deeper than we thought, through Keyshawn a touchdown pass, and those are life-changing plays that really changed the course of time for a lot of people. And you think about, you know, Philadelphia Eagles, they've had one guy make the Hall of Fame in Brian Dawkins, but we've had 4, you know, with Sapp and Brooks and Rondé Barber and Lynch, and then hopefully Simeon Rice. But those are life-changing moments for a lot of people, not alone, you know, so many great players and great coaches that we had on that staff.
Yeah, I mean, and again, you know, Jaravicius, you talk about him, he's going through it that week. I mean, how much did he mean to that game, and how much did he mean to that locker room, especially that week, going through the personal struggles with his baby son there?
Joe was an X factor in many ways. He was our third receiver with Keenan McCardell and Keyshawn Johnson. And that week, he didn't practice. We didn't know if he was even going to be at the game. He showed up at the hotel after the meetings, and then still didn't know if he was going to play.
Yeah.
And, but you know, that was one. You know, it's a life-changing play for him at the moment. And it took place, and that moment will live in Buccaneer history forever in the spirit of it. And Joe and I have stayed in great touch. We went to Super Bowls with New York, us, and then Seattle. He had a daughter last year, Caroline, that won a national championship in volleyball with Penn State. So
yeah,
a lot of great times with Joe Jaravicius.
Absolutely. We're on with Super Bowl winning quarterback for your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Mr. Brad Johnson, here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter, giving you something to think about. Let's talk about Baker Mayfield. You like quarterbacks? What do you see with Mr. Baker Mayfield last year? 41 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. Probably needs to do a better job to fight another day, but it's a gift and a curse, right, with Baker Mayfield?
8 years of football, he's got 170 touchdowns. I mean, give him 3 more years and he's got over 300.
Yeah.
I mean, he had 4 or 5 different coordinators there in Cleveland. So the perception is a little bit different than what's happening with the reality of it. And
yeah.
Honestly, to come in and replace Tom Brady like he did after winning a Super Bowl and those kind of things, and then to win 2 division titles, to go to the playoffs the last 2 years, and what he's done for that organization. They've, he's the heartbeat of the team. The players love him. The front office loves him, but the fans love him too.
Yeah,
that's your quarterback, and so I'm a big fan of watched Baker play since college, and just love great quarterback play. He's a physical kid, plays a lot of heart, and makes plays with his feet, but makes a lot of plays with his mind, and just by the winning attitude. So big fan of his.
I know you got to be a big fan of Mike Evans and of course Chris Godwin. How would it feel if you were the quarterback of this team? I mean, as a quarterback, those targets there, and then you got Jalen McMillan from last year. I mean, talk about this receiving core for the Bucs in 2025.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to win it if you don't have a great defense, a great kicker, and then great players around you, offensive line and running game. But having those receivers, man, like just give them a chance.
Yeah.
But think about it, they're not the prima donna guys. Like they're workmanlike. They put their heart out on every day. They're consistent over time. You know who they are. You know the commitment that they make, and then just the obviously Godwin's coming off an injury, but he, you know who he is, and he'll be back. And then Evans, I was there for last year when he made that, seeing him make that 1,000th catch or whatever the catch of the year. Like, that was a life-changing moment for him. Not only money and those kind of things too, but like the organization was willing to almost give up that game to give him that catch. That's the respect that he has from this organization.
For you, who wins if a wide receiver battle? Is it Keyshawn Johnson, Keenan McCardle, JoJo Vicious, or is it Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Jalen McMillan? Pretty even at this point, even though
all of them are Super Bowl champs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
besides McMillan at this point.
You don't even go down that route. I mean,
right.
Just legends and for the game and what they've done for the Buccaneers, and just all special guys and Super Bowl champs.
All right. So again, we're on with Brad Johnson here. Besides winning Super Bowl 37, what's your greatest memory of that year in 2002?
Honestly, it'd be to beat Philadelphia up there in the vet.
Yeah.
I mean, they'd beaten us 4 straight times before that. One was a non-game, kind of with the last game of the season, going to the playoffs and the year before. But they'd beaten us pretty bad up there in October 20th of that 2002 year.
Yeah.
And to come back and then to beat them in the vet, in the cold, to shut down the vet, and to really kind of haunt a lot of nightmares for us. And so that was an unbelievable moment. And for us to celebrate like we did in the locker room, to head to the Super Bowl. And then obviously we opened up the Lincoln the next year and shut them out 17-0. But I just think of the relationships, the coaches, the great coaches. Like we had Gruden and Dungy, they had so many guys, assistants that went on to be head coaches in the NFL. And you don't win if you don't have those kind of people in the building. And obviously the relationships and players that we had, Hall of Famers, Pro Bowl players, and just great people that have great teammates that we play with here in Tampa.
Talk about one of your great teammates. He's going into the Ring of Honor, Simeon Rice. How do you feel about Mr. Simeon Rice there?
Yeah, it's incredible. I actually played against Simeon when I was in Minnesota, played against him in Arizona. He was a force there. We came together the same year in free agency. Dungy's last year, he brought us both in. And but I think what Simeon did, like, he was the X factor on defense.
Right.
For that whole defense. Like we talked about JoJo Vicious, but like every day after practice was over, we'd go meet with Gruden for an hour to watch film, and then I'd come back out, going to my car. I'd see Simeon out there pulling sleds and running sprints, and I mean, he's a thoroughbred, man. So for him going to the Ring of Honor, it's incredible. I'll be back down here for that November 30th on the Arizona game, and actually texted Simeon after he got that honor, and just man, he so deserves it, and just happy for him.
Absolutely. Brad, we appreciate the time. I know you got to run here, man. But again, don't be a stranger. Here's my card. Anytime you want to come on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television and talk some quarterbacks. And real quick, give me your forecast. I know you're biased, but how do you feel about this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team in 2025? I say 12-5. You don't have to give a number, but where are we going with this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team? Put you on the spot here.
Hey, they win. They just find a way to win. However it happens. I mean, Jason Light's done an unbelievable job as the general manager. Getting that team right in different ways from the salary cap a couple years ago, figured that out, and then, keeping the guys on board. So it's a great nucleus of players, and the spirit and what they've done here the last 4 or 5 years, going to the playoffs and winning it. Totally expect that again this year.
Big Brad Johnson right here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Appreciate the time, my friend.
Appreciate it.
All right. Yes, absolutely. So there you go. That's how you kind of start off the show, right? You start off the show right there in a victory manner.